Alright, what's up there, geometry peeps? Today we got surface area and volume of pyramids and cones. Now, with pyramids and cones, we're dealing with some different formulas. When talking about the lateral area of a pyramid, alright, our formula is 1/2 perimeter times L. Say, what? What's L? Well, P is still the perimeter of the base. Perimeter of the base. Alright, and the base of our pyramid, we're going to be dealing with squares. Alright, typically it's going to be a square. Then the L stands for slant height. Alright, slant height. Now, I'm going to add something here, and it's going to say H. And the H stands for the height. Now, in the surface area, we use slant height. Slant height is found on the face of one of the triangles. In volume, we use height. Height is if you drop it from the vertex to the middle of the square, to the middle of the base. So it's actually inside of the triangle. Think of if I stuck a pencil through the top of this and the tip hit just the middle of the square. So that height's used for volume, while the slant height is used for surface area. And B is still the area of the base. The only difference is here we only have one base because the top comes to the point at the vertex. So it's no longer 2B but just 1B because there's only one base. Alright, so those are the pieces. Let's go ahead and apply it and get this done. Now, surface area and volume of a pyramid. So, with this one, first let's start with surface area. Now, surface area we know is 1/2. Alright, 1/2. And that 1/2 comes from, well, think about it. If I had a whole prism, alright, we kind of like cut out half of it, right? We cut out this corner and this corner. Alright, so 1/2 in terms of relation to the prism. Alright, perimeter of base, well, we have 18 plus 18 plus 18 plus 18. So 18 times 4 gives me 72. So the 72, I'm going to put a little P above it so you know it's perimeter. Then the slant height, here the slant height is given to us, which is nice. So it's just 15. So that's the slant height. Now, plus the base, the area of the base. In this case, we have a square base, so it's 18 times 18, which gives me 324. So when we do this math, half of 72 is 36 times 15 is 540 plus 324. My total area or surface area or total surface area is 864 millimeters squared because my units is millimeters. Alright, now for volume. Volume is 1/3 area of base times height. Now where does the 1/3 come from? If I had a prism with a square prism, so a cube with 18 millimeter base, what would happen is if I flipped this upside down and cut off the top and filled it up with water, it would take 3 full pyramids to fill up the prism. Alright, so it's 1/3 of the amount of space on the inside in relation to the prism. So that's where the formula comes from. Now, how to find it? We have 1/3 area of base. Well, we already found that here. So we know that's 324 times the height. Now, we know the slant height. But remember up above we said the height comes from here and it's inside of the figure. So what we do is we create another right triangle. Alright, so the hypotenuse now is your slant height. So the hypotenuse is 15. This comes to the middle, so half of 18 is 9, and we have to solve for h. So Pythagorean theorem says h squared plus 9 squared equals 15 squared. So h squared is 144, so h is 12. If you remember that triple, 9, 12, 15. So my height is 12. When we do that math, 1/3 of 324 times 12 gives me 1296 cubic millimeters. Remember, volume is cubic units. Alright, now with the 1/3, you can just put in your calculator or multiply and divide by 3. Either way will work. Alright, now over here's a little different situation. Same idea, we have a square base. They're giving us the height, but now we're missing the slant height. So we create the same triangle. We know that piece is 4, that piece is 3. That's a 3, 4, 5. So my slant height is equal to 5. Now, sometimes what I like to do is, knowing if we have to find surface area and volume, is just to find the height and slant height right off the bat. Because now we can get into our formulas and go to work. So surface area, 1/2 times perimeter, 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6, 24, times my slant height, don't get them confused, is 5, plus the area of my one base, which is 36, 6 times 6. So again, the lateral area tells me the area of the 4 triangles, and then the base is just 36. So half of 24 is 12. 12 times 5 is 60 plus 36, right, which gives me 96 feet squared. Now for volume, we have 1/3. Area of base we know is 36. And then we have a height of 4. So 1/3 times 36 times 4 gives me 48 feet cubed. Alright. So surface area, 1/2 perimeter times slant height plus base. Again, your lateral area is finding the 4 triangles. If you actually found the area of this, watch this. 6 times 5, right? Base times height divided by 2 is the area of one triangle, is 30, 15, right? 15 plus 15 plus 15 plus 15 gives me 60. Right, the formula just makes it easy so we don't have to find the area of every triangle and every square and then add them up. So the formula gives us the same result. And for volume, it's 1/3 of our prism. So area of base times height, and we just take 1/3 of it. Alright, so that's a summary for pyramids. Pyramids. Alright, let's go down to cylinders. I'm sorry, cones. My bad. Cones. Now, again, just like prisms and cylinders, cones and pyramids have the same formulas. Alright, the only difference is, again, we're dealing with this base. This base is a circle. Your radius goes from the center of your circle out to the edge. Your slant height and height are the same relationship. It's just the slant height is on the outside of the cone, and your height is again on the inside. So the only thing that changes now, this is still the perimeter, but again, now the perimeter is circumference, because we're dealing with the circle. So pi times diameter, or 2 pi r, however you like it. L is still my slant height. Slant height is on the outside of the cone. H, alright, is still the height on the inside of the cone. And B is the area of my base. But now the area is a circle, so it's pi r squared again. Alright, so same formulas as before. The only difference is the bases we're dealing with are circles, so know the difference in the formulas. Alright, so find the total surface area and volume of each of this cone. So let's start with surface area. We have 1/2 times perimeter. Well, in order to find the perimeter, we need to know the radius. So we're going to draw in a line here. 6 what 10. That's a 6, 8, 10 triangle, Pythagorean triple. If you don't remember it, do the Pythagorean theorem. So it's 1/2. If 8 is my radius, my diameter is 16. So my circumference is 16 pi, the perimeter, times my slant height, which is 10, plus the area of my base, which is pi r squared, with r being 8. So I have half of 16 is 8. 8 times 10 is 80 pi. And then plus pi r squared, which is 64 pi. 80 pi plus 64 pi is 144 pi inches squared. Alright, so 1/2 times perimeter times your slant height plus your base. Alright, that base is your circle. Now volume, 1/3. Area of base we know is pi times radius squared. Alright, times my height. So the height is on the inside, which is 6. So 64 times 6 divided by 3 or multiplied by 1/3 is 128 pi inches cubed. Alright, well that's all I got. See you.